A dirt road, a locked steel gate, cameras that never blink. In the middle of New Mexico's empty horizon sits a palace with its own airstrip, a place where powerful people flew in quiet, and young girls say the worst things happened even quieter. This is Zorro Ranch, Jeffrey Epstein's desert secret.
On my own island, on my own ranch, I can think the thoughts I want to think. I can do the work I want to do. I'm free to explore as I see fit.
Today, we're going to walk you through what we know, what's still sealed, and why this property keeps popping up in court files, tax fights, and very strange rumors about eugenics. Bring your questions, because this ranch raises a lot of them. The desert fortress no one could enter. Epstein bought the property in 1993 from the family of former New Mexico Governor Bruce King. What he built there was part fantasy, part Bond villain lair, a 32,000 square foot mansion with a sprawling courtyard, a living room the size of the average American home, multiple guest houses, a log cabin, stables, greenhouses, a private firehouse, and even a yurt. Out on the edge of the property, a private airstrip with a hangar and helipad, perfect for discreet arrivals and departures in a place where, as Santa Fe County Assessor Gus Martinez put it, the only way you can get access is really through the ranch hand. You can't just really drive into that property because the gates are closed. Cameras, no trespassing signs, and a speaker system guarded the entrance. Visitors, even contractors, had to wear hospital booties, be escorted everywhere, and use side entrances. One contractor told reporters, "About every 3 minutes, someone would come down to keep an eye on us while we were working." Epstein's creepiest plan yet. Okay, then there's the weirdest part. Epstein reportedly told scientists and businessmen that he planned to use the ranch as a base for his eugenics experiment, to seed the human race with his DNA. The New York Times reported that Epstein's goal was to have 20 women at a time impregnated at the ranch. Some accounts linked the idea to the now-defunct Repository for Germinal Choice, a sperm bank once stocked with donations from Nobel Prize winners. This reminds me of someone I haven't thought about in a while. Who could it be? Was this plan ever real? I mean, there's no proof that the scheme progressed beyond fantasy, but multiple scientists confirmed Epstein openly discussed it. Virtual reality pioneer Jaron Lanier recalled a conversation with a NASA scientist who claimed the ranch's dinner parties were partly used to screen candidates to bear Epstein's children. Alan Dershowitz, Epstein's former lawyer, said he was appalled by Epstein's interest in genetic manipulation, calling it, given the use of Nazis' eugenics in the 1930s, deeply disturbing. The VIP guest list from hell. Unsealed court documents from Virginia Guthrie's civil case against Ghislaine Maxwell put Zorro Ranch squarely in the middle of abuse claims. Virginia says she was recruited at 16 to give massages inside the estate, massages that allegedly included nudity, sex acts, and sex toys. One woman claimed she was a sex slave there starting at age 15. Virginia also alleged nude photos were taken of her at the ranch and that she met a president of a foreign country there, though his name remains sealed. Another woman alleged she was forced to have sex with prominent people. Named guests in court records include former President Bill Clinton, Prince Andrew, and former New Mexico Governor Bill Richardson, all of whom have denied any wrongdoing. Richardson's spokesperson said these allegations and interferences are completely false. Governor Richardson has never met Miss Guthrie. The land that shielded him. Part of Zorro Ranch's secrecy came from the land itself. Epstein's company, Cypress Incorporated, leased over 1,200 acres of state trust land adjacent to the ranch. New Mexico Land Commissioner Stephanie Garcia Richard called it absolutely horrifying to discover the state had contracts with Epstein and said the leases may have been obtained through illegitimate means for purposes other than ranching or agriculture. Attorney General Hector Balderas agreed, concluding the land was likely used to protect the privacy of Epstein and his co-conspirators rather than for legitimate agricultural purposes. Both officials moved to cancel the leases in 2019. The loophole that let him hide in plain sight. Here's the kicker. Despite his 2008 conviction in Florida for soliciting a minor for prostitution, Epstein avoided being listed on New Mexico's sex offender registry. Why? State law at the time only required registration if the victim was under 16, and his Florida case involved a 17-year-old. Balderas later called this a huge black eye for the state, saying, "I believe Jeffrey Epstein knew that we had weak registration laws and that we weren't synced with the federal government." The fake deed mystery. This bit is kind of random and weird. In 2020, a mysterious deed appeared in county records transferring Zorro Ranch from Cypress Incorporated to a Florida church called Love and Bliss for $200. The church's president, a 22-year-old man with prior arrests for stalking and battery. The deed included a fake notary signature and even a forged Jeffrey Epstein signature dated April 2019, months before his death. Epstein estate attorney Daniel Weiner called it a fraudulent attempt to cloud the estate's ability to sell the property, similar to a scam that the same group had pulled off in Florida. Weird, right? The secret sale and shadowy new owner. The ranch was finally listed in 2021 for $27.5 million, later dropped to $18 million. In August 2023, it quietly sold to a newly registered company, San Rafael Ranch LLC, for an undisclosed price. Santa Fe County property records list the taxable value at over $21 million, but the new owners are now in court arguing it's worth just $9 million. They want a refund on the $151,000 annual tax bill. Who exactly is behind San Rafael Ranch LLC? That's still not public, adding yet another layer of mystery to a property already steeped in unanswered questions. Why New Mexico? Epstein didn't have obvious ties to the state before buying Zorro Ranch. Land Commissioner Garcia Richard believes part of the draw was the perception that people won't ask questions in New Mexico. And for years, they didn't. The remoteness of the property, the protection of leased public land, and the state's legal loopholes made Zorro Ranch the perfect hidden in plain sight retreat. Balderas was blunt. By the time I inherited the case, you're talking about generations of time had passed. That was part of the illicit cover-up of a very powerful individual. The FBI never came through the gates. While federal agents raided Epstein's homes in Florida, New York, and the Virgin Islands, multiple reports say Zorro Ranch was never searched by federal authorities. That means whatever was inside, photographs, documents, computer hard drives, could have disappeared without law enforcement ever seeing it. One subcontractor who worked there claimed he saw framed photos of topless underage girls with Epstein and various VIPs in the mansion. He said they were removed in 2005, around the time of Epstein's first major criminal investigation. The secrets buried in the desert. Zorro Ranch is now in private hands. Its gates still closed, its secrets still locked away. But for the victims, the attorneys, and the investigators who have touched this case, the property remains a symbol of unanswered questions. Who exactly visited the ranch? And how often? Were there other hidden properties or underground facilities not visible in aerial photos? How much evidence vanished before authorities could seize it? And was the baby-making plan just the fantasy of a megalomaniac, or was it something darker? If you think rich people are weird and scary and have way too much money and just kind of bleh, then you should totally subscribe, because every week, 5 days a week, I'm bringing you videos about the rich, the evil, the Epsteins of it all. Get in. Bye!